Hey guys, I wanted to create a video showing some of the common curve tools and functions that I use, and then I'm going to show you a little, the rest of the video is going to be a time lapse of me working on the Blackbird. It'll be split into multiple parts. There's a lot of parts. It's taking, it's going to be a pretty long tutorial, so hopefully it's not going to bore you guys too much. But let's say you have a shape that looks something like this, and there are a couple ways you can create curves. You can use, of course, there's different kinds of curves. My favorite and the one I go to the most is the EP curve tool. You do have now the Bezier curve tool. I can show you that. So let's see, and create. Let's see, where are the curve tools? EP curve tool is the one I use. There's also CV curve tool and Bezier curve tool, and you can add them to your shelf. Just go to create, hold Control Shift, and add the curve tools there. So by default they're not there. So you have your EP curve tool here. So I'm going to drag my CV curve tool next to it, and then my Bezier curve tool next to that. So I have my three curve creation tools, and the EP curve tool works by placing edit points. So if I place one point, click another point, I have a curve in between them, and if I make another point, another edit point, you can see what happens. And then if I move, you can see that the shape changes based on the curves that follow, on the edit points that follow. And if you finish it, you can either just press any of the tools or click enter. I just press W, it's my go-to tool. And you can see that it's actually, if you right click and go to edit points, you can see the edit points in between. And you also have the control vertices, which give you a little more control over the curve. And I like to press 3 when I start working with them, because by default they look a little chunky, so pressing 3 smooths them out. There. Now the CV curve tool does what the EP curve tool does, but only by placing the CVs, and the edit points are placed in between them. You need 4 points to complete a curve, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then once you start placing more, and you can see the previous curve function, the previous curve doesn't get affected too much with placing new CVs. There you go. So you still have edit points, but you're actually making CV points when you're creating this curve. And then you have the new curve is the Bezier curve tool, and you just click and drag, and you can drag a Bezier line. Now you of course have more control with this guy, but it also takes longer. It's a lot more clicking and moving, and you still have control vertices, but the control vertices now have Bezier lines, which you can control. So with a CV curve, you do have Bezier lines, but you can't edit them. So you can't edit them. So with the Bezier curve tool, you can edit those lines, those Bezier lines. And you also have, well, actually they took out the edit points on this one. So there are reasons. If you're used to using Illustrator, you would love this. I do use Illustrator, but I still love the EP curve tool. I think it's the simplest way to work. So that's that. And let's try and make something of the shape. So let's see. I'm going to go from the front view. Actually, from the front view, from this view, I'm going to place a circle. So let's say you have a shape that is like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to hold spacebar, display, Nurbs, edit points. Turn on edit point display. If I place another curve here, and let's say they intersect, so I'm just going to move them close to each other, make them touch that. So let's say I want to make this kind of shape here, right? So instead of drawing the shape, I'm going to use circles, because I feel like it gives me more control. And let's imagine that we have a couple of these. That. And these two are slightly smaller. Maybe these are bigger. And they're going to be in a different place. So let's place them here. Okay, so what I like to do next, let's make this one smaller and that one even bigger. So we have 3 different shapes. Where they intersect, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a curve point. I'm going to right click, click curve point, click and drag, and where they intersect, I'm going to just do that. And then I'm going to right click, click and edit point, and select the edit point. So I have a curve point here and edit point here. I'm going to go to curves and click detach. I don't need this part. Now on this curve I'm going to do the same. Drag, get close, right click, edit point, shift, select that, and you can just press G. This will redo the last function you did. So now we have this and this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now let's do the next one. Attach, delete that. And this edit point actually is right where I want to drop my, oh it's not, it's a different edit point, sorry about that. There we go. That, edit point, detach, delete. Now, this one didn't get deleted, so let's delete. Okay, so those are my new curves. And I can loft between them. Select this one, and this one, and just click loft, and then this, and this, and click loft. Now the reason this one's black is because it's reversed. So I'm going to hold spacebar, go to surfaces, and just click reverse direction. And I like to go directly into Nurbs when I'm making these complex shapes. And the reason I like to do that is because I want to see where the issues are. So like if I went directly to Polygons, I might not be able to see that there's a it's bunching up here. And the reason it's doing this is because we have different number of if I delete this, different number of points here. So if I select the control vertices here, the control vertices here are different than the control vertices here, or it could be one of them. So if one has more than the other, the shape will be will look weird. It'll be bunching up because it's trying to compensate for that. And it's not a big deal if we're going to go to Polygons. So let's do that again. Okay. So now I'm going to go to convert to Polygons. Modify convert Nurbs to polys. If you reset this, I go straight to quads, general, and I like to start with isoparms on complex shapes and set this to 1. And just click apply. And these two, the surfaces, I'm going to make a group and call it reference. Just going to hide it. And anytime I make Nurbs surfaces, I put them in that group, or even in polygon surfaces that I want to keep, I put them in that group. This way, I know not to delete history on these guys, so that I keep them for later. I can always remake the surfaces, and these guys still have their history, and I don't have to worry about accidentally deleting these guys, the Nurbs surfaces. So here, I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at it and judge, and you need to kind of judge to see which direction you need what. So like in this direction, if I want to stay in isoparms, and in this direction I want to stay in 3D or isoparms. And so the U type, I'm going to change this to 3D, and you can see that this got smoothed out. And if I start dragging, I just click the U number and start dragging, you can see it's nice and smooth now. And that's because when you set this to 3D, it ignores the isoparms and only does a even distribution of edge loops from beginning to end. And that's what's nice about that. And always stay with an odd number when you're doing a quarter like this, because if you do an even number, you'll get this face right down the middle. So when you try to quad this off, it's going to be really difficult. So when you're doing this, make sure you stay with an odd number and don't go too dense. You also don't want to go too low res, because then you won't be able to add a lot of detail. Like if I want to add like a hole here or something, I can't do it. So you have to add more geometry so that you can add the detail you need. So that you have to kind of look at the subject matter and decide how much detail you're going to need. And then for this, we don't need as much detail. And I'm going to stay on this one using isoparms, because on sometimes, depending how I place the curves, I need more geometry here or less here, so I can use the per span number of isoparms, and that will give me less geometry here and more there. Otherwise, if I set it to 3D, it's going to be an even distribution. So it ignores this line. The other thing is, if you're matching top and bottom, if you set it to 3D, they might not always match. Like if I set both of these to 3D, put the same number here, where the line is placed here, sometimes it doesn't match. See how it doesn't match anymore? But if you set it to isoparms, it's going to be a perfect match. So I think that's good. And then this one, because we have this uneven distribution here, we'll set this to 3D as well. And the reason that I didn't combine the curves, you can combine the curves and do it loft just between them and keep them all even. I wanted to keep the part, like if this is the fuselage, I wanted to keep this nice and even, and I wanted to have the spread happen outside this line, after this quarter circle line, because I want this nice clean geometry here, and then this will spread out, and then you can combine. Alright, so I'm going to use these tools in the next few videos, the processes here. So if you have any questions, you can always post them in the comments, and I'll try and answer them, or make a video devoting to those things. If there's something in the time lapse that you see that you don't understand, let me know, and I'll quickly make a video for it. Alright, thanks for watching.